it will be pushed by different countries, because, for example, when it comes to Ukraine and Russia, the Western countries are the first that want the creation of a special tribunal. Do you see a kind of volunteers from these same countries when it comes to Israel, and do you think that it can happen one day?
I serve with a lot of pain and sacrifice this mandate upon request of the Human Rights Council. Not just what happened in the last 3 months, the fact that the council embraced without challenging it the decision of the finding of the coordinating committee that have not acted in violations of the code of conduct, was reassuring, because the only thing I wanted to do 3 months ago, after engaging so much of my time and sacrificing so much of my own life to serve this mandate with honesty and integrity, I really wanted to present this report, because I knew that I really believe that while member states are aware, and people are aware of the violations, it's difficult to see the system, and many are genuinely surprised of this picture, what I shared. And what reassures me is that what I've seen today in that room at the Human Rights Council is something I've never seen. Forget the applauses, but I've never seen such a almost wall-to-wall support and endorsement for my mandate before. So I accept that there might be some divergent views, and we can live with the fact that we agree to disagree. I'm a UN Special Rapporteur, and I should be respected as such. If any member state has issue with it, they can talk to their colleagues in the Human Rights Council. And the creation of a special tribunal. Look, I do believe that justice is absolutely necessary. I've often said that while we have international courts, we have the International Criminal Court, we have the International Court of Justice, we also have universal jurisdictions over the crime of genocide. And I do imagine the Palestine trials. People sometimes ask me, do you imagine the Nuremberg trials for Palestine? Yes. I imagine the Palestine trials, which will be the full realization of justice across the border, because crimes are across the border. Human rights violations clearly show that there are responsibilities across the border, and therefore I want to see lawyers and practitioners, barristers, invested in supporting civil society and work with judges and prosecutors to deliver some justice. I'm not given thoughts yet, consideration myself to the idea of a special tribunal, while I do think that the question of Palestine is so big, is so overwhelming, the injustice that the Palestinians have experienced, which doesn't take anything away from the injustices that the Jewish people have endured and suffers for centuries, which is also what triggered somewhat and entered into Palestine. But never one injustice as justified another injustice. So now it's the time to look at what for 77 years, actually for 100 years, the Palestinians have endured, and probably one ad hoc mechanism would make sense. However, I also know that accountability per se, retributive justice, and even political solutions that take into account and realize the rights and freedoms of all, because this is the only solution that I see, the only political solution that I see as necessary and viable. Then it will be up to the Palestinians and the Israelis to decide in what form of state, 33 years later, the beginning of the peace process, they want to live in, one state, two states, three states. It's up to them to decide. However, I also think that the word that particularly my part of the world struggles with, and it's very necessary both for the Palestinians and the Israeli, is healing. There is a huge sense of trauma, and probably we can't even reckon the depth and of it right now, as the Palestinians in Gaza will have to survive, will have to be helped recover from what they have suffered, and they will need all our humanity, all the humanity that we have been prevented from showing them. But also the Israelis will need healing, because when they will realize what they have done in the name of an ideology that has turned into a political doctrine and that has sent its youngest citizens into carrying out genocide called a war of revenge, they will need more support